Welcome to Labus TV, Labor and Business Television, where we bring new perspective to every story. We promote awareness on events in various sectors of the economy in Nigeria, Africa, and around the world. We celebrate global leaders and personalities that have risen against all odds, making tremendous strides in countless industries. With innovative, unbiased, cutting-edge stories and global events just for you. Don't miss our exclusive interviews with world leaders and entrepreneurs as they share their inspiring stories with the world. And be sure to catch our Labor Roundtable, highlighting views on labor issues. Be sure to also grab your Global Labor Events and Business Magazine, a magazine you must have. So join us here on Labus TV. This is where great conversations begin. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Wow, I don't know what happened. I was actually on mute. Oh wow. Okay, so
As always, this is Exclusive Interview on Labels TV, and my name is Shirley Murphy. So, and as always, Exclusive Interview is that program that is specially designed to celebrate great personalities that has risen against all odds to become a voice and making amazing impact in their respective industries and sectors of the economy, both locally and internationally. This is where leaders set the tone for growth and proffer solutions to various issues in their respective industries. This is where the conversation begins exclusively on Exclusive Interview. So join us as we take you on a journey with our special guests every episode of the show where you'll be inspired, educated, and of course, informed. And as you're joining us, don't forget to like, share, and of course, invite your friends and family members to join us. I would also like to inform you that this broadcast is being streamed live on YouTube. And if that's your preferred platform, you can, join us on YouTube. The link is in the comment section. So today's episode of the show, I have in the studio with me a very phenomenal guy, a very pragmatic leader who is passionately leading and protecting the interests of our Akwa Ibom people in the United States of America and also, of course, back home here. And it's so amazing, to have him with us, to share with us more about Akisan. And then again, I want you to remember that every episode of this show is for you and I to be educated on events and happenings, and of course, be informed and then be inspired to become and do more from your space or industry or sector, wherever you are. So, and again, I want you to know that the power for you to become more, to stand out, lies with you. All you need to do is tap into it and begin to explore. Believe in yourself always. Always key for us to always take notes, write down things that we may need tomorrow. So before I bring up my guests, we'll go on a break. Yes, we'll go on a break again and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Yeah, welcome back. Today I'll be interviewing Mr. Itoro Akpani Ikwot. He is a software engineer by profession with over 20 years of experience in the industry, and he is the 21st National President of Akwa Ibom State Association of Nigeria, USA, Incorporated, also known as Akisan USA. He assumed office in August 2020 and was re-elected, of course, to continue doing the let me borrow my sister's name, the fabulous works that he has been doing. He has been doing fantastically amazing. And then just for you to know that there's a whole lot that we're going to learn. So hook on to learn more about what Akisan is doing and of course more about who Itorakpan is. So welcome with me to the stage this amazing, very, 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 very dogged leader, Mr. Itoro Akpan. Hello, hello, hello. Good to have you with us on the show, sir.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for joining us. Sorry, I don't know what, you know, um, technology sometimes it can be crazy. All right. So, welcome once again, Mr. Itoro. Can you tell us a bit more very quickly about yourself, your background, and how it led to what you're doing and who you are today?
Yes, thank you very much, and again, thanks for the opportunity of having me on your show, and thanks to everyone who is watching as we speak. With respect to my bio, I think you've pretty much said it all, but relative to where I am today, I would like to go back to about 2006, which is when, in response to a friend who wanted a website, I decided to establish a company called Ace Web Solutions. And the association's website, which is akisan.org, that's akisan.org, happened to be one of my first clients. And so at the time, the website had not been updated for a while, and they were looking for a major upgrade, which is what I gave to the association. So at that point, I became the official webmaster of the association. And through that, I got referrals to do many other websites, not just call it in the US, but also what I'm going to call Akwa Ibom subgroups. So I use that opportunity to build my networks, build friendships, socialize. And as we speak, out of the 10 or so what I call subgroups in the Akwa Ibom community in the US, I probably am the webmaster of at least 8 of them. And so those were the networks and friendships that I built upon to improve myself personally, as well as to also use to launch myself into the national spotlight.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for letting us into your background. And again, I know that you have been around even as Akisen member all the while, even before you became the president. Now, can you share with us more about what Akisen stands for? Because like I shared earlier, there are some people even in Nigeria and of course Akwa Ibom that are still like about some of my friends that are watching us right now.
Mhm.
They want to know what is Akisan all about.
Yes. So Akisan is a very good question, by the way. It's an acronym for the Akwa Ibom State Association of Nigeria, USA, Inc. We've been around under that name for the past 35 years, but actually we go back probably 50 years. So back to 1967, when we had a group of students come together under the name of Southeastern Students Association. When the state changed its name to Cross River State, we changed the name at that time. And then, of course, in 1987, when Akwa Ibom State was carved out of the then Cross River State, we changed our name and then formed this organization. Right now, we have at least 30 active chapters all over the country. Every major city has at least one chapter. And then the bigger states like California, Texas, Florida have at least three chapters because of how big they are. The national is basically an umbrella for all the other chapters. The chapters are independent. And so at the local level, these chapters do things in the local community. So like feed the homeless, feed the poor, provide blankets and jackets during the cold weather to those places, run vaccination drives, raise funds for people in that local community. But at the local level, at the national level, sorry, we do more of scholarships, educational training, medical missions back in Akwa Ibom State.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So, wow, Akisan has been doing, that amazing. And then again, I'm happy to learn that Akisan is in about 30 states. United States, you said? Oh,
Uh,
wow.
chapters.
Chapters. Yes. Okay. Yeah. 30 chapters. Wow, that's amazing. Okay. I know. Something is coming out, something is going to come out, from what you just said. So then let's keep our fingers crossed. Okay, then. Oh, so in what way would you say Akison has been impacting the lives of the Akwa Ibom people, especially the youths and women? Women, children,
Mhm.
they are the ones we should always look out to touch. So at home here and of course in the United States? In what way would you say Akisan has been doing that?
So we've been impacting people both, like you said, at home and in diaspora in several ways, both in what I will call teaching people how to fish, which is most important, but also giving people fish, proverbially. And what do I mean by that? As I mentioned earlier, the local chapters reach out into the local communities. And then at the national level, for many years, up until about 2 years ago, we've been carrying out medical missions in various local governments and also offering scholarships. But when I came into office, I decided let us change the narrative, which is the subject of today's interview, and focus on actually giving people, teaching people how to fish. In other words, empowering them. So once they get what they got from us, they can now apply it and hopefully better their lives. So, for example, we've carried out a lot of vocational training programs. We have right now in information technology, cosmetology, culinary arts. We just finished one in agribusiness, and then very soon we're going to start one in fashion design. And I can tell you that over the course of these programs, we're actually in the third or fourth batches of all these things. They last between 3 to 6 months, depending. Many of those students have moved on to either establish businesses of their own or gotten gainful employment. The one I would also like to single out in particular is the cosmetology, because thanks to that particular program, there's an aquarium here in the Atlanta area where I live, and he's been selling natural products, body products to Walmart, which is like Tesco or spas in Nigeria. It's very amazing that an aquarium, a black person, but an aquarium in particular, is able to reach into such markets. So when he found out about this cosmetology program, he worked with our traders. And now, as of 2 months ago, they've supplied about 10,000 bars of natural soap to him here in the United States.
Oh, wow.
And so that's very important to me because, again, it's empowering that lady. She had to expand her business, hire more people to the state that's more internally generated revenue. And then, like I said, hopefully that grows from like a small business into a major industry eventually.
Yeah.
So those are the ways we're impacting. Now, with respect to people outside of the US, yes, we're a US-based organization, but the goal is to also let people know that there are Quabomites everywhere else in the world. Earlier on in my office, I decided to reach out to the national presidents of other aquarium communities worldwide. And right now, I've reached out to about 12 of them. I did not even know prior to that we had aquarium communities in India, in Israel.
Wow.
So, yeah, the goal is to get all of them, at least 100. That way we can all speak globally as one voice. We can also be a voice for the voiceless. And then hopefully we can all combine to do projects as one big group as opposed to 100 smaller groups.
Wow. Whew, this is amazing. In fact, I'm lost for words. So it is very important to learn, some of the things that has been done to help the Aquibon people in the US and of course back home here. Empowerment is really key, especially for our youths to be able to, step forward and of course discover themselves, the skills, and of course become more. And then again, I was going to ask you, how or what's your plan about getting or unifying Akwa Ibom people that are in other countries of the world. And you, really just, mentioned that. And this is interesting. And I want to believe that all efforts, will be put in place to ensure that we are, really unified. Now, for those of you that did not know, I am from Akwa Ibom. And then again, I want to quickly recognize and, of course, appreciate some of our people, friends, and, of course, amazing viewers that has joined us. Okay, Wiggins. Wow, Wiggins was, okay. She was telling me there's no sound. I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. But now we are talking. Wiggins, thank you very much for joining in. Wiggins is the founder of Change Makers Initiative from Jos, Nigeria. And this is Camille Rapp. Woohoo! Camille, thank you very much for joining us. Camille is from Florida. She is the founder of this woman. She is, I call her the mother of all. She feeds people, from all strata. She feeds people all around the world, I would say so. Every Saturday she, you know, does a feeding program. So Just for You Incorporated. That's the name of her non-profit. So he said, why am I not there with you today? Oh, cool. Well, thank you. And of course, you're here already. So you have no sound. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we also have Idara. Oh, wow. I should know who this is. Am I right? Mhm.
You
Thank
should.
you very much for joining in from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you. Oh, wow, wow, wow. We also have in the house Santa Domingo. Did I get that right? All right. It's a nice. I'm here. Okay. I see someone else. Gloria Udo. What did Gloria say? Mr. Itoro, can you read for us?
Yes, it says, Engineer Toro Kwanikwara, able President Akisan USA. Thank you so much for turning things around for good. May God continue to direct you and protect you. Amen and amen.
Amen and amen. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
I can really see that. Yeah, your leadership style is really making a lot of impact. So yes, so from Oklahoma, Santo Domingo. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Camille, saying amen. Thank you. I love the teaching. I love that teaching. I love that teaching them how to fish. Yes. So that's what Akisan has been doing, teaching the people of Akwa Ibom how to fish, because it's not all about, giving you the fish all the time. You need to learn how to fish, and very, very important. And I'm happy that this is being done, despite all that people have been saying that, oh, Akwa Ibom people, this, no, I don't want to go into that anyway. So, but then, thank you so very much, sir, for the amazing work that you've been doing since you came on board as the president of Akisan, and of course, for beginning to change the narrative from what we used to have to what we now have. Now, because of your leadership style, more ears, you know, are now on ground to know about what Akisan is doing. And it's very important for us, to see that. Okay, so before we continue, let's go on a break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. So we have been speaking with the president, the national president of Akisan, and he has shared with us, Mr. Ito Rockmanikwat has shared with us some of the works or the impact his administration has been, doing to help the people of Akwa Ibom in the United States of America and of course back home. And it's very, very important for us to also come together to celebrate what he has been doing and of course what his team has been doing. So let's so that you won't feel like we're giving all the glory. Okay, so what his team has been doing,
Exactly.
because he wouldn't have ordinarily done that all by himself. So and of course is also due to his vision for the group. When you see a leader with a difference, a leader that is coming in not just for the position, but for a selfless service, you will know. And I want to join others to further celebrate you, sir, for stepping forward and of course doing beginning this journey. And I know it was as a result of the amazing things or your vision for the group, for the association, that you were re-elected. And from what I also learned, the first time ever that the president will be re-elected. Is that right?
That is
Okay,
correct.
so you were re-elected just few weeks ago
That's right.
at the convention. How does this make you feel? Being re-elected as the president for the second time.
Yes. So, well, first of all, I'm going to say it's definitely been an honor. But if you don't mind, I'd like to go back to one of the first questions that you had asked. So, number one, Akisan is a nonprofit, volunteer-based apolitical membership organization. And what do I mean by that? So, everything we do is thanks to our volunteers and donors. Without the donors in particular, we would not be able to do any of the projects that we're doing. Also, we're apolitical. So, whether it's in the United States or anywhere else in the world, we are for everybody or nobody. So if we treat one person one way, we have to treat the next person the same way too. We're also membership based. So just because you're an Akwaibomite does not mean you're automatically an Akisan member. You have to be affiliated with a chapter and pay your dues there, and then through the chapters, you are a member of the national. National doesn't have any direct membership. And then last May, we actually did offer scholarships to about 12 students in the amount of 2.1 million naira on May 24th that just passed. So now back to your question. Like I said, we're about 30 chapters strong, and each of these chapters have their own unique sets of values, members, the way they think, the way they do things. So even being elected once is a feat in itself. I actually ran for the first time in 2018 and I lost. Of course, I went back, I learned from those mistakes, and then I ran again in 2020. Unfortunately, I won. And so for me to be elected again and unanimously at that, I take that as a very great honor. And I want the people to rest assured that just like I did not appoint them or disappoint them over the last 2 years, Lord willing, I will do even better in the years to come.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And God will also help you to do better, in the years to come. And you made the mention. Okay, somebody saying, okay, let me just let this. Um, okay, Camille is saying you are doing a fabulous job and the people trust you. Yes, the people trust you, and that's why they have given you that opportunity again. So definitely, by the grace of God, you won't let them down. Okay. Idara is saying the difference is more than clear with this Akisan USA national president, Engineer Itoro Akpanikwot, is down to earth and things are happening that has never been before. Proud of you, son, and very humbled to be your mother. More grace.
Oh,
So amazing to know. Wow. Yes, of course, it is in the open that you are doing amazingly, as the president. And of course, somebody is also saying that you are going to be the next, the future governor of Akwa Ibom. Our future Akwa Ibom governor is a gifted leader. This is a man that we can say, God anointed me to be the governor. And everyone will believe. Okay, all right. So let's see how that goes. And of course, when you set out on a good structure, you have that selfless service, you're determined to serve the people, definitely the sky will be your beginning point, because sometimes even when you're not ready, you don't want to be there, you don't want to lead. The people whose life you have touched will be the ones, to push you or to, make you want to go do it. So, and starting from a humble beginning, and of course getting to where you are, it is so 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 wonderful to see that you're even building on that and doing more. And you made mention about how you tried in 2018, you said, and you lost, and you
Mhm.
tried again. So that's growth, for every one of you that is watching us. If there's anything you have tried, you believe in something and you tried it and it didn't work out, don't give up. Keep trying. And as you keep trying, you will definitely win. He tried the first time, he didn't win. He went back and he won. And of course, he's still winning. So I want to celebrate you more, sir. And I can see truly from the comments that we have that you're truly a humble son that is a God sent. And of course, you're doing, all of these things out of the fact that you want to actually see a difference being made. So thank you so very much once again, and of course for sharing with us. So now the any leadership, even from the home,
Mhm.
being the father, comes with a lot of challenges. So, and of course, as the president of Akisan, first term, and of course the second term going, what are those things that you look at and say, oh, it has not been easy. These are the challenges that I've faced, so that people won't feel like, oh, this man, where you are now, you're just everything is rosy around where you are. So share with us.
That's
Do you have some challenges that you are, battling with to overcome,
mhm.
so that we get to know that truly there may be times that we need to find you. So please, sir, you need to take a break or
Yes.
go for holiday so that you can reboot. Share with us, sir.
Yes. So there have been several challenges. Like I mentioned earlier, we're a volunteer-based organization. Everyone, including myself, we do things out of love, basically for free. In many instances, where, especially in Nigeria, where I've had to spend money, it has been out of my pocket. I'm not complaining. I do it because I believe in the organization. I came in at the height of COVID-19. As I mentioned, well, I don't. We usually have conventions every year in August, and that has been the major source of our funding. Well, because of COVID, we did not have a convention in 2020 and we virtually had no money. So I had to come up with creative ways of how to raise funds to implement our various projects like the vocational training and the scholarships. Unfortunately, I was able to reach out to people, not just like Quibblemites, but I'm going to say human beings in general, telling them what we're about, what we're trying to do, and then they donated money towards that. But one of our major challenges is funding. I'm hoping to get to a point where we don't have to tax ourselves as members to do the things that we need to do. So we need to again reach out to corporations, to individuals, entities to get the funding that we need to get things done. Number two is in the area of publicity. As we were chatting earlier, a lot has, even upon everything we've done in Akwa Ibom State through our social media channels, interviews, newspaper, radio, TV, and all that, still a lot of people don't know about what Akisan is or what we do. So that is why I'm always glad to get on interviews like this, especially those at a national or international level, because that will give people the opportunity to know who we are. Yes, we do a lot of things, social media wise in particular, but if you don't even know our channel, how will you even know to get to do what we're doing? Like I said, we do have a website, akisan.org. If you go to the top right of any of the pages, the links to our social media pages are on there. So please follow us, like us, and share the gospel, if you will. Another area is youth involvement. When the kids, including myself, are younger, it's very easy for the parents to say, okay, you're going to come for this meeting, you're going to come for this convention, or whatever it might be. But as they get older, they become more independent, they move away from their original environments. Many of them do not want to get involved again. So one challenge in that area has been to reconnect with these youth, figure out, why they decided to stay back, even some of the older members, as a matter of fact, and see what we can do to bring them back. With respect to the youth, I always like to tell them, and many of them don't know this, I am the first US born national president. So for those in the US who thought that, oh, it's only people from Nigeria who can be president, that is not the case. And I'm hoping to use that and build upon that as a source of inspiration and motivation to get those, our children born here, who may or may not even ever go back to Nigeria, to know that they too can also run this organization and make it better.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that with us because challenges are always, bound with us every day of our lives. We tend to meet challenges and it becomes more and of course very tasking and demanding when you are the one facing the heat, as the leader or as the president or as, governor or whatever you want to call it. So becomes very demanding on us. So, and it's key that you mention funding because in whatever you want to do, funding, it's always a challenge, especially for a non-profit. You always have, issues about not getting enough funds to execute projects and programs. And I'm also happy to learn that even those that are not Aquabomites, you mentioned human beings as a whole, are the ones you reach out to. And I want people to know out there that Akisan as a group or as a non-profit, let me put it the right way, as a non-profit has its challenges. And one of such challenges is funding. So in any way you can support for them to do more. Sometimes people may just sit back and say, they are not doing this, they are not doing that, they are not doing this, they are not doing that. Something may be holding them back from not doing it. So, and one of such things, funding. And then again, the issue about publicity that that you talked about. Today's world where we are, thank God for COVID in disguise, I would say, which came as a blessing, in disguise. So it has made the online presence, to be more easy where we can, share whatever we have, whatever we're doing, to the whole world in few seconds. People will just get to know. And somehow it's actually not taking away our local or national media stations, but it is giving more engagement and of course a wider reach to what you would have ordinarily just put in a radio station where some people will say, I did not have lights, I didn't listen to it and all of that. But sometimes even when there is no lights, in of course in Nigeria where we are, lights of course is always a problem. Sometimes people in their homes for weeks there's no electricity, but their phone somehow they'll get it charged and they can know what's going on. So I said that to say that there's more to be done around that. And of course, taking advantage of the social media platforms, the online presence, to just spread the message out. And there are so many platforms that you can, leverage to do that with or without money, so that can be done. And then again, youth involvement. I am very, very particular about this as well, because when we're growing up till tomorrow, they keep telling us, children, the youths are the leaders of tomorrow. So and then again, for them to be leaders of tomorrow, that means they need to be carried along, get involved in everything, leadership process and all of that, so that they, when it gets to their turn, they can actually know what you're doing. So the youths, both in the US and of course in Nigeria, needs to be carried along and then get them more involved. Although you have issues around getting them out, bringing them out. But I know there are a lot of programs and activities that can pull them out, now. So there is more to be done around that. So I just pray and wish that people or the youths themselves can come around to be available for service, because that's how you can also, they can get involved, be available to serve Because when you're not available, for instance, when you started, nobody came to your house to call you to come and lead. You were available and, of course, ready to serve. So it's unfortunate somehow, sometimes, that some of our youths, you know, you know how it is, are interested in some other things. But then I want to believe that with more decisive efforts and decisions taken, we can begin to go into some of these things and deal with them holistically. Okay, so Idara is saying, hi, okay, saying, sending a regards to Camille. Okay, Camille is saying, I'm going to learn more. Thank you for sticking on, Camille, and of course for learning. Yes, we do it out of love to help others. Yes, this lady, she's she's a superwoman, has been doing a whole lot as well to help others, to impact into people's lives. So, okay, so that takes us to the next question. What would you say? I know you've mentioned some things that you've achieved, but I want you to put it in perspective.
Mhm.
Categorically, these are achievements we've recorded. From your first term, you just started the second time, so I don't think there's much, but at least from the first time, what made those people to say,
Yeah.
okay, you have to go back again? So tell us some
Yes.
of the recorded achievements you've had as the president of Akisan.
So yes, there have been several. Again, thanks to the cooperation of the general membership. Before I go into that, I just wanted to mention, in case you want to donate to Akisan, which we very much appreciate, if you're in the US, please Zelle is president@akisan.org. That's president@akisan.org. You can also go to our website. There's a make a donation tab. You click on that and then make your donation. You can either make it one time or you can make it monthly. Again, we appreciate all your donations. Now, with respect to accomplishments, first of all, I noticed that there seemed to be some kind of fragmentation within the organization. So I decided to make sure everyone was included or carried along, like you said. So in all the committees, everything that I do, I make sure that all chapters are represented. Even if they have 10 members or they have 200, doesn't matter. Everyone is carried along. That way, everyone has a sense of belonging. Every quarter, we have council meetings. And I always make sure I purposely situate those in cities with the smaller chapters. In other words, those chapters should not only be recognized only come election time, right? Everyone should know that they are there. And by having these council meetings there, those members will appreciate the fact that we are carrying them along. And then those of us who go to visit these cities also get to see Akwabomites in those areas. I mentioned the vocational training programs. So again, information technology. The next one is actually kicking off in November. Cosmetology is in October. Culinary arts, agribusiness, and then come November will be fashion design. I mentioned the scholarships that we gave out last May. We're also going to be giving out scholarships next year. The application for that will come out in November. Everyone should please stay tuned. And then also we have a medical mission, which was the purpose of our convention this past few weeks. We're trying to raise money to carry out a medical mission in 3 local governments in Akwa Ibom State, Itu, Uruan, and Urumoko. So again, we really appreciate these donations to make this possible. And then I've also done my best to try to bring the youth back. As you mentioned, the youth, they have their own set of values. We were once youth before, so we have to get to their level, understand them, get them back. And I think we've done that in general. And then last but not least, I've tried to bring back even the adults who are on the wayside because of how things may have been going over the years. So it took a lot to convince them that, especially with this last convention, the atmosphere was totally different. It's like everyone was back, ready to get back in, dig in their heels, and get things done. So there's a lot more, but off the top of my head, that's what's the right
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. Okay, somebody's asking a question. Okay, somebody's asking a question, but before we take the question. I want to once again commend, you on your achievements so far, and I know there's gonna be more that'll be done because it's a what's this? To whom much is given, much is expected. So for the fact that you have done from A to where you got to and you were re-elected, more is still expected of you, to further do as you go into the second term.
Mhm.
And now I want us to take this question. The Santa Domingo is saying, moderator, please ask Itoro how will he influence so that his successor should be in his kind of attributes who will continue from where he will stop, so that Akisan will not go backward after his tenure. What's Itoro feeling on that?
Yes, so very good question, by the way. What the answer I would give to that is, I guess, in terms of influence, it's through my actions. Everyone has seen what, thanks again to cooperation of everyone, I've been able to accomplish as administration. And so hopefully the members have been able to set a certain bar for the future leader, and not just the person after me, but probably the next, I would say, 20 years. Because it's okay if we go forward for the next 4 or 6 years, but God forbid we go back after that. So we have to start that process. So I would actually throw that back on the members of the organization. We know those people who are capable. The days of voting based on sentiment or for one reason or the other should be over. It should be based solidly on accomplishments. What the person has even done before they decided to run for president at their local chapter level, professionally, right? That should give people a gauge of what that person is capable or might be capable of doing in the future. And perhaps if at a particular election cycle, the candidates, or none of those candidates are worthy in their eyes of becoming a leader, we should be able to say, you know what, you guys should not go. Maybe we hand it over to the board of trustees to manage for a while until we find someone who is capable. But again, like I said, hopefully I'm influencing that decision based on my actions. And then the members will now have a general expectation of who the next leader or leader should be.
Yeah. I think you answered that right. Santa, I hope you're cool with that. So everybody has to, really be involved, and then the members is in your hand anyway. It's left with you, and you don't put in sentiment and truly choose the right person. Good answer. Okay, so so she or he now. So it's a good answer. So thank you for giving us a wonderful answer to that. Okay, so like I was saying, based on what you've done, what is what are your plans into the future, in the nearest future for Akisan? You know, particularly about I know we've talked about youth involvement,
Mhm.
but women now, women and children, how are you intending to also bring them more into the fold? Without women,
Exactly.
I'm saying that because let me sit well. Okay, so what are your future plans for Akisene, particularly about women, and of course, women, children, and youth generally?
So I'll answer general, then I'll get to specifics. So in thinking after I was reelected of what to do in the next 2 years, um, I thought about the parable of the sower in the Bible. So he sowed his seeds, some fell on fertile soil, some fell on rocks, some fell on bad soil, right? So of course, despite everything that may have been accomplished, like you said, there have been a lot of challenges as well, right? So I learned from those challenges, but for the ones that fell on good soil, they've now germinated into seedlings. Over the next 2 years, I'd like to manage those seedlings into trees, if you will. So grow them to maturity so that they can bear fruit. An advantage of that would be, again, going back to who the next leaders are, instead of them uprooting these things because they didn't understand or they're sickly, because they're now mature, they can now pluck off the fruits of this one and then grow them elsewhere, right? So that's one thing I was thinking about. I'm thinking also more in terms of legacy projects, things that will outlast my administration for years. So one great thing I would hope for is, for example, for us to have landed property in Akwa Ibom State.
Okay.
Whether it's a hospital, whether it's I don't know, a hotel, or whether it's like an embassy of sorts, so that let's say I'm in the US. I've never been to Akwa Ibom State, and I want to learn about Akwa Ibom State, right? I want to do business there, or maybe I need a car, I need a place to stay. I should be able to pick up the phone and call and say, "Hey, I'm coming. These are the things I need," and that office makes my stay pleasant. So I'm thinking more legacy things again that will. If you drive by on the streets of Rio, you're like, okay, yeah, that's a Akisan house, right? It's something that we can use to claim something in that state. Now,
Mm.
specific, you mentioned, I know I talked about the youth earlier, so I now focus on the women. Akisan has always had a strong women base. In fact, my immediate predecessor was a woman. Unfortunately, only two women have led the organization in 35 years, but we're hoping to have more in the future. Fortunately, in the last convention, I had instructed the women to go and do what I call restructuring. So come up with an actual document that would govern how they operate within the Pakistan organization. And that was passed at the council meeting at the convention. So now I'm expecting them to now go out and actually start implementing based on that document. And hopefully that again outlasts my administration too.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much for letting us into your plans in the next 2 years. And I like that area of business where you talked about getting a business for Akisan, either in Akwa Ibom or in the United States, because you must think out of the box. When you talk about funding being an issue, we need to begin to think about avenues at which you can begin to generate income so that you don't solely depend on the dues or waiting for the conventions before you're able to, raise, some money to take care of things, because more are still lying, to be done. So, and I think that will be a very welcome development, because with that is going to empower more people. We're going to give jobs, to more youths, and of course to women. So the women that have been given a mandate for them to deliver, so I know women, they don't take the back seat anyway. So I want to see uh, that women are doing more. And of course, like we used to say, women who must come forward to become future presidents too, and of course, governors,
Mhm.
and of course, even presidents. Nothing is stopping us.
That's right.
So, and thank you that you're supporting women, and of course, giving women the space for them to also thrive, because women, we are always in support of those that are supporting us too. So because you're doing that, we will continue to also support you, because
Thank you.
like I share it again and again, that every woman has something unique, that God has given for her to deliver. But sometimes we need we need the platform, we
Mhm.
need that support from our men, so we can, step forward and of course do more. And sometimes too, the onus is on us as women to take the step out, believe in yourself, step out and begin to show, begin to prove that you can do this. In fact, you're more than what you're seeing. And then the way will just open. So sometimes you don't wait for it to just come on a platter.
Mhm.
You know, you need to fight for it. So that's what I want to say to our women out there that want to, take the step to lead, step out regardless. And we have a wonderful guy here that will support you and of course encourage you to also grow. Okay, so before we go into the next question, let's go on a quick break. I will be right back. Hi. Now, more than ever, education and empowerment has become the new currency to helping women and girls step up, to be seen, and of course, be heard. And at She Rise Academy International, we are matching our words with action, giving women and girls around the world the needed platform and opportunity to become more. My name is Shirley Murphy, founder She Rise Academy International, where we raise confident women for excellence. Now we have an amazing offer. We are giving for free 4 weeks certified courses on all our available courses with in-depth practical lessons and of course with live classes, giving women and girls the opportunity to step up in their career, their business, and of course with their life, with needed skills to become the very best version of themselves. So I want to invite you to specially take advantage of this amazing opportunity and invite every other woman around you to do the same. Register on the link below and let's go learn together. So hurry now and register because we have very limited space in the class. So register, and let's see you in class. Bye. All right. That's She Rise Academy for women and girls around the world. We are giving the platform, the needed platform to educate and of course empower the girl child and of course women with skills in for their lives, for them to be able to step forward, step out boldly, step out with confidence to do and of course run with their purpose, because as you know, God has created every one of us with purpose. So, and women has been lagging behind, so it's time for us to encourage ourselves, to become more. Okay, so now we have been having an educative and of course informative session with the president, the national president of Akisan, Engineer Ito Rapanikwa. And it's so amazing to learn about your leadership style, your vision for Akisan, and of course, the impact you're making. So once again, thank you so very much for being this thoughtful leader. Thank you. Okay, so I want to take you to the next session, and they used to say, all works and no play will make Shirley a dull girl, will even make the president of Akisan a dull man in one way, So we want you to share with us. We are in a fun segment. Tell us when you are not, thinking, cracking your brain, your head, doing meetings into midnight, about what to do about Akisan, about software. What do you do? Share with us your fun facts, Mr. Itoro. Let some of the members know that sometimes it's good for a guy to just, relax. So share with us your fun facts, Mr. Itoro.
Well, I don't know if over the last 2 years there's ever been a time that I haven't slept, dreamt, ate, drank Akisan, but let me see. I love to read. I love to travel. My favorite color is navy blue. I love playing soccer. I like to say I like movies, but I watch movies not for the entertainment value per se, but in other words, like when the camera is focusing on the actor, I'm looking more at the background because I think more is happening there. So I guess you can say I like to try to see what others may not necessarily see. I also like to learn from my elders because they have been through life longer than I have. And so I'm always reaching out to them for knowledge, because I don't want to repeat the mistakes they may have made. I also want to learn things from a different perspective. Conversely, I also like to learn from people who are younger, because at the same time, they see things in a way that I don't see.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do things, as I said, do things the same every time, but expecting a different result, right? So reaching out to people above and below me, so to speak, is another thing I love to do. Another fun fact, I guess it does qualify. I don't eat ekpankukwo.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Why? No. Let's be serious. Why?
So I think, okay, so it goes back maybe to, because I've asked myself this question too. I grew up in the US, okay? I was 8 when we moved back to Nigeria. And back then, not like now, there were no, at least where we live, no African shops, to think of. So my mom always had to improvise. So when it comes to like a bar, there was like mashed potatoes. When it comes to like afam, we had spinach. But there was really nothing to substitute for ekpang. So of course, when I went home as a kid, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm really into visual. If I don't like something the way it looks, I'm not interested. If it looks well, even if I've never eaten it before, I will give it a try. But ekpang has been one of those things, unfortunately, till this very day.
Doesn't look good.
And for those who don't know, ekpang koko, I believe, is cocoyam porridge.
Oh God. How? It's like to hi. Butchered our food, in fact, our number one delicacy.
I know,
Okay.
right?
Well, one man's meat is another man's,
Yeah.
and just like you shared from your background, there was nothing, and so you didn't grow up knowing what a pankoko was. So,
Exactly.
and anybody trying to force you that you must eat this pankoko at this ceremony, I know it will not work. Okay, I thought you would say the reason you're not eating is because of the fact that, like my dad would say, he cannot sit around and wait for food that will take hours before it's ready. So, because the preparation process and all of that, somebody would have fainted before you finish preparing it. So because of that, he's not in for such food. You need food that you can, fast eat his thing and go away. Okay. Well, I thank you for sharing that. So if anywhere we meet and somebody try to offer you a pankoko, you know that you're making a mistake. So bring something else. Okay, so thank you so very much. So I like the fact that you mentioned that you learn from everybody, and that's how we can actually grow. Learn from those that are younger than us, and of course from those that are older than us, because the people coming under us or coming after us, especially in this era or be dispensation or whatever, this age, what they know is different from what we knew when we were growing up. So it's good to box in everything and of course learn from our elders so we can, avoid making the mistakes they made. And thank you so very much. It has been, an amazing session with you. Just learning and of course learning. And I know viewers has been, of course, learning too from you. Thank you so very much. So in a bit to further changing the narrative, in this second term, I know you've talked about what you're looking to do, but very, very, maybe in two areas. What are those two areas that you seek to change the narrative? In all that has been happening, in all that you've seen as a leader in the past 2 years, and of course going into another 2 years, in a bid to change the narrative. Yes.
Yes, so I would rather say that it's one area, and I'll come to that.
Okay.
It's why I like our governor's Dakada initiative. In other words, rise to your greatness. It's all in the mind, right? If you can conquer those negative perceptions and ways of thinking in the mind, then everything, in fact, you asked me about two, it could even be 100 things. but we first have to work with what is in here. And that is what I've been trying to do over the last 2 years. So some people would say, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that. You are moving so fast. Who defined those parameters, right? So there's so much, if people say, oh, 2 years is too short, I would argue otherwise. There's so much that could be done in 2 years if only, again, we change what is upstairs. For years, like I said, we've been raising funds through conventions. It's as if we had no other way. I had to change that narrative that we can reach outside. Last convention, we had sponsors in the amount of between $15,000 and $20,000. I'm hoping to get that increased over time. We have to change the narrative in terms of how we involve our youth. They're not just, as we call in a language, ntoyem, right? When you say ntoyem, that implies even if you're 40 and I'm 60, you're still a child. You're not. Many of them are married, matured, gainfully employed, right? So we have to put them at that level, not to see them as kids. We have to change the narrative with the way that we're working with our women. They don't belong, as someone we almost said, in the other room, right? They can also contribute to the well-being of the association. So there's so many ways, like I said, to change the narrative, but like I said, we have to work on what is up here. When we do that, in my opinion, everything else will fall into place. And that is what
Yeah,
I'm working to do over the last 2 years.
yeah. So change mindset. So
That's right.
we have a lot of work. We have a lot of work to do, to getting people's mindset to be pushed, and of course get them to begin to align with what the reality is.
Mhm.
Because there's no how, there's no way, anyone can grow if you are living in the ages. So you need to bring your mindset to actually align with what is in trends, and of course what should be possible for you.
Mhm.
So it's actually a lot of work to do to change people's mindset and thinking orientation and all of that.
Mhm.
But then if you have that as a focus, your mentorship and of course leadership and all of that will tell around all of that. And of course, people should actually see that it's time for us to move forward. And you can only move forward when your mindset is changed from, like some people will say, that is what we used to do.
Exactly.
That is what they do in my place, all this kind of language. And it keeps us stuck, makes us remain at a place, years after years. So it is high time for us to move forward. And that can be done when our mindset is changed, when we are changed, we have a new orientation. And I can see that's what you're bringing on board. And we're ready to embrace it. I see somebody in the comments saying, okay, ST, Econ. Okay, ST is saying, okay, let me leave it to you to read so that, read for
Oh,
us, sir.
okay, I'll do that. So it says, I am privileged as an eyewitness to confirm everything our president, Engineer Toro, is sharing on this platform. He is quick-witted, focused on his visions, and knows how to effectively communicate it. His other nickname is Digital President. He is a
Hey,
yes, thank you.
okay, okay. Digitalized president. Okay.
Like I mentioned in the area of publicity in particular, right? You also talked about it, quote unquote, thanks to COVID, we've been able to change the narrative in how we communicate and reach out to people. So my administration has been very big on using social media, the digital footprint to reach out to the
Yeah.
people. Because many people are not on terrestrial TV anymore, they're not on satellite. Everyone has their smartphone, right?
Yes.
And so what is the first thing they most likely do? Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, so we make sure that we reach out to them through all those avenues.
Yes. And Lincoln. And of course,
WhatsApp.
there are a lot of them out there. There's a whole lot. Clubhouse, this, that. Okay, so it is for us to take advantage of those platforms and, of course, spread our message out there. Nobody's arresting us for doing that. So
Mhm.
thank you so very much for, yeah, I appreciate the angle, where you really want the narrative to be changed or it surrounds every other thing, because when this is scored 100, okay, if not 100, at least 90, every other thing will be, very easy to get done. So now we are already on top of the hour, so we'll just take few words of wisdom
Mhm.
or words of advice from you, sir, for the people of Akwa Ibom in the US and of course back home, of course, to humanity generally, because of course humanity has been,
That's right.
supporting what you're doing.
Mhm.
So share your final words of advice with
Mhm.
people out there.
Yes. So, once again, thank you for inviting me onto your platform. Thanks to all those who are watching or will be watching this show. Thanks to all the members of Akisan, the chapter presidents, my executive council, board of trustees. Thanks to my wife, my mom, my sister, my children. Without all your support, everything that has been accomplished would not be possible. Um, you ask about the word of advice. I'm always haunted by, I don't know if it's a Kindle or a Kindle, some professor that said we're an optimistic society, always at war with ourselves. So, one message I've always tried to preach is that of love. As kids, we were told this story about how someone brought a broomstick and it was easily breakable. But then when we had a broom, it was harder to break. If there is no love, there is no unity. If there's no unity, there is no strength, especially for those of us who are outside of Nigeria. Membership in Akisan is about maybe 5,000 people. That is very small when you consider there's about 350 million people in the United States. So we have to be united. If we are not, we can't get anything done. We don't get the respect that we deserve. So please let us love one another. Also, I also want to end with this. I have two philosophies as far as the Aquarium community is concerned. I read somewhere that about 8% of Nigerians who actually say they're going to move back home actually do that. So, what does that mean? Either myself or my children will never move back there permanently. So, we have to set root here. In order for us to grow as a community, we need to start supporting our businesses. We also need, like I said, to love each other. We need to hire our own people. If the money that we earn is circulated in our own communities, like in the white communities, the Indian communities, then we're going to grow better. But as long as we get our money and we send it outside, we can never grow. So again, I would say love, unity, strength, and encouraging each other business-wise and in all aspects of life. If we can get all these things done, trust me, the sky will be the limit for us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so very much for that powerful words of advice and of course words of wisdom. The key for us to becoming more is first and foremost appreciating one another, loving ourselves, and of course loving people around us,
Mhm.
doing all we can to unify, people around us, collaborate, support, encourage others. Just being on the positive all round, because if you're on the positive things will definitely make you, and it will help you, to step into places you never thought could be possible. So, and Mr. Toro has shared that with us. If you've heard it somewhere, you're hearing it again. Love, unity, strength, coming together as one will make the world a better place, will make all of us wonderful, very wonderful people, around the world where we can make positive impact, in somebody's life out there. So, and then again, I want to say thank you so very much once again for being a part of the show. You have a question in the comment section. I don't know if you can still take that,
Yeah,
or
that's
maybe you can just, let me see. Time is really up, so but let's quickly take so that you can take note of it. Um, Change mindset. Santa is saying change mindset. Parents complain that nothing was there for kids in the convention. President, please, could Could you tell us in the next two convention how you can incorporate kids? This too will help parents who stay away from convention because nobody to keep kids for them to
mhm.
come for the convention. So, you talked about even parents also being involved or the other people. So sometimes, like he has mentioned, maybe something has to be done in that aspect. You
Okay.
can, respond to that in the comments after the show
Okay.
because we are really pressed for time. So thank you once again, Mr. Toro, and I know we'll definitely have you back on the show
I appreciate that. I'm
sometime
looking
soon.
forward to it.
Yes. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you once again. Okay, so that's all we can take onto this episode of the show. I hope you were able to learn, because I learned a lot, about what Akisan is doing, and of course, the leadership style that Mr. Toro has been using to impact lives. So, thank you, viewers, for also being a part of the show. Join us same time, same channel for another interesting episode of the show. For sponsorship, advert booking, and placement, please contact us with the details that I'm going to put out right now. That will be scrolling down the screen right now. Then contact us with these details. And of course, if you want to be featured on the front cover or inside pages of our magazine, Global Labor Event and Business Magazine, you can also contact us with the same details. Thank you so very much. And don't forget to like our Facebook page and also follow us in Instagram, and also subscribe and watch our programs on YouTube. Thank you once again, and bye-bye.